Hello, everybody. Ray Pedrosa on the McAllen Cable Network. A lot of people excited about the new Texas budget, restoring, of course, funds to education and the mentally ill. And here to talk to us more about the new Texas budget is, of course, our Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa from District 20. Of course, on the Senate Finance Committee, you're the Vice Chair. You're also the Chair of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee as well.
Correct. That's a lot of work. Sometimes I got a increase in my workload and now a title, but no pay raise.
Hey, a lot of people are excited about this new Texas budget restoring funding.
Well, we have been very fortunate here in Texas, in that we have a very positive recovery of our economy. We still lead the nation in the creation of new jobs. New businesses are relocating here in Texas, coming from California, New York, Illinois. So we're in very good shape here. What we did, we voted Senate Bill 1, which is the appropriations bill out of the Senate Committee, Finance, Wednesday of this week. And education, of course, is always a priority. What we did, besides setting a base of about $32 billion for education, we allocated another $2.2 billion to fund the growth that is taking place here in Texas in the public schools. On top of that, we paid back $1.7 billion to the foundation school program that we had borrowed last session when we were short of money. So we paid that back.
It was pretty sad because back in 2011, school districts were laying off teachers, and I think it was like $5 billion cut in 2011.
About $4.5 billion, yes,
okay.
More than close to $5 billion, yes.
So this is going to allow schools to at least get some of that money back, right?
We made a down payment of about $2 billion to try to pay back some of those cuts. So we are making every effort. We will not be able to restore the full cuts, but we'll be able to add a lot of that money back. We're funding $2 billion for student growth. One of the things that's happening is that we also have a spending cap. So we will have, quite frankly, more money than we are allowed to spend under the cap, under the Constitution. So it will take us at least 2 sessions to completely restore all the funding cuts that were made last session, plus take care of the growth that's taking place in our schools.
Okay, and you're saying that this extra money is coming from Texas's job growth. Is part of that due to the oil drilling that's going on? There's a lot of there's a flurry of activity north of us.
Well, it's due to several actual sources of revenue, but the primary ones are oil and gas. The Eagle Ford Shale here in South Texas is generating tremendous number of jobs, plus tremendous income in terms of taxes that are being paid by the oil and gas productions taking place. But it's not only here in South Texas, also up in the Midland Odessa area. There's a boom in oil and gas drilling under, I guess, what is called fracking. And they have the same situation up in the Fort Worth area that is generating tremendous amounts of oil and gas. That's revenue to the state of Texas. That's on top of the revenue that is coming through the sales tax and other sources.
McAllen has steadily seen an increase, and so we're very fortunate for that. Senator, another area that's going to benefit from this new budget is more funds for mental health.
Well, besides education, mental health was a priority for us. So we added an additional $220 million to deal with mental health issues and also focus on veterans who are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan and needing help and support in terms of mental health issues. So we made sure that we funded that adequately by increasing the base bill by over $200 million. Keeping in mind that we try to focus on community groups that provide mental health services to local folks.
Okay, very good. What other areas do you think the Valley stands to benefit from this new budget?
Well, one of the things that also happened, last session we underfunded Medicaid by about $4.5 billion. And Medicaid is an entitlement program. We have to fund it. So we paid back the $4.5 billion that we underfunded Medicaid. So and we're making a lot of progress. For us, also the Texas grants. The Texas grants are very important to college students. And what we did, we added $120 million to the base of $559 million. So we funded about $680 million additional monies for Texas grants to help students who are attending college finance their education. Here in South Texas, I mean, we also increased funding across the board for higher education. And more important, we passed Senate Bill 24 out of the Texas Senate Wednesday. Senate Bill 24 is the bill that will merge UT Pan American with UT Brownsville and bring the RAC, Regional Academic Health Center, under the umbrella and make it into a freestanding medical school. And the reason that bill is so important for us here in not only the Valley but South Texas is because it will really increase educational opportunities for South Texas. It will create thousands and thousands of new jobs, and it will expand our economy. It will provide better access to health care and improve health care and be able to graduate more doctors. But one of the things that has happened in every area of the state, like Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, even Lubbock, is when you have a health science center in a medical school, that also brings a lot of health-related businesses to the area. That creates tremendous impact in terms of new jobs and research being done. So that's a huge, huge improvement for us here in South Texas across the board that just cannot be overstated.
Wow, and so that's pending a vote in the House now, and then what happens after that?
Well, we sent the bill over to the House Wednesday, and I think that the House Bill 1000 is set for debate Tuesday.
Okay.
So it may or may not end up going to conference. It all depends if there are any amendments added. But the support is so broad-based. It's really a bipartisan issue that everybody now recognizes the importance of South Texas to the future of our state. And
Okay.
that's a big change compared to past years, where it took us a while to see and understand the contributions that we make to the state as an area and as a region.
Got it. And Senator, getting back to the budget, when will you finalize? When will you adopt the finalized budget? Is that at the end of the session?
Well, yes. The budget is about $94.1 billion, just a general revenue. The total budget is $195 billion plus dollars. By the end of the session, what happens now is that Senate Bill 1 will go over to the House side,
Okay.
and they will pass their own budget. And there will be a difference in numbers, but we'll be around $200 billion budget at the end of the session.
Okay.
But they'll form what is called a conference committee, 5 senators, 5 state reps, and we will finalize the budget sometime in late April, early May. And I will be on the conference committee as vice chair of finance.
Very good. And then at that time, when it's adopted, there will be a breakdown online so people can go on and check out.
Well, one of the things is that on the conference committee, we can always add more money to the budget because many times there'll be a disagreement between the House and the Senate as to how much money to provide for, let's say, Texas grants. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have to adjust those numbers so that they're identical in order to be able to bring a budget back to each respective chamber and have them vote on the budget up or down.
Very good. Senator, anything else that you think is relevant for your constituents here in the McAllen area?
Well, for us, there are other several big issues. One is water. We're looking at legislation, Senate Bill 4, to find ways to fund the state's water plan. Without water, I mean, we can't survive. Water is not only a quality of life issue, it's also a jobs issue, it's an economy issue. So water is one of our priorities this session. So you will see us trying to come up with ways to create an infrastructure bank and take about $2 billion from the rainy day fund and use those monies to be able to fund and capitalize water projects throughout the state. In addition, that last November, the voters voted on $6 billion available for different water projects throughout the state. So we have the money to do that now, and we're going to do it because we need to invest in water. The other one is transportation. For many, many years, we have underfunded TxDOT. And a highway system is the lifeline and the bloodline, if you will, of our economy. And there's a lot of congestion because our state, during the last 10 years, grew by 5 million people. It's projected that the growth will continue. People are moving here to Texas from all parts of the country. And we need to expand our transportation system. So what is happening is I'm carrying legislation that will also set up an infrastructure bank to leverage those monies to be able to fund projects. For us here, specifically in McAllen, we have a commitment from TxDOT to fund the expansion and the reconstruction, if you will, of the Bicentennial Overpass. That's very key. The area is not fully developed because of the engineering issues with the Bicentennial Overpass on the expressway.
It's partially shut down.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
partially shut down. So that area is not fully economically developed. So we will receive that money and get work. We want to start working on it, and they'll get the TxDOT approval sometime this month in March.
Nice.
So for us, that's a big issue in terms of dealing with that particular part of our city. We're also looking at trying to acquire funds to expand the interchange in FAR, Edinburgh, McAllen. As you know, during rush hour,
Yeah, always bottlenecks.
it's
right
a
there.
bottleneck because I don't think that when it was first constructed, there was anticipation that the valley would grow so rapidly. Well, it's a huge bottleneck. So it's a priority also that we're working in trying to acquire the funds to widen that interchange.
Wow. So people are going to hear this and say, when will we see that relief?
Well, you always got to have to take the first step, and we are really working on it.
The good news is that you're looking at it.
We're
Awesome.
looking at it.
Nice.
And I will also tell you that for us, women's health is also a big issue.
Okay.
This last session, we added $100 million to women's health programs across the state. That's in addition to $214 million that was the base. So, you know, we're very much concerned about health, mental health, women's health. It was a big controversy in the past. We've gotten past that, and we're having a pretty good session. None of the divisive issues that came up last session are there anymore. We don't have to deal with sanctuary cities. We don't have to deal with voter ID. We really don't have to deal with the redistricting. So the legislature really got the message from the voters that they want us to work in a bipartisan way to deal with the key issues that need to be dealt with and try to come up with solutions that will benefit the public.
Very nice. Well, Senator, we know that you're in the middle of a session right now. We know that you make it home to take care of issues here at your home office in McAllen. We certainly appreciate you making the time to visit with us today. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. You know, the session goes by so fast. It's like a blink and the session is gone. So we have a lot of work. But for us here in the Valley, I've never seen the Valley so united in making the medical school, in creating one university, one region. And one more point. What is so important about that is that it will give us access to the Permanent University Fund, which has about $12–13 billion, which means that we'll have more construction money available and more money available to buy equipment. We'll be able to expand and attract more research money to the Valley. It's just such a tremendous benefit when you have a university that is able to access PUF funds and receive grants to do basic research. So it's really a very a big win so far for us here in the
It's an
Valley.
exciting time to be living in the Valley right now. Excellent.
This is where the action is.
Exactly. Senator, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll chat with you again soon, hopefully.
Yes,
All right, very good. Okay, thanks so much. And once again, we thank you for watching. I'm Ray Pedraza on the McAllen Cable Network.